Let me start today's podcast with these beautiful lines that I just found while I was scrolling my FB feed. It says, Karma says, you are suffering not because you did something wrong, but because you did not know when and where to stop being good. They're such beautiful lines, right? Most of us can resonate with this, and we can completely relate to the situations we are undergoing. And it is so true. Sufferings is not necessarily because we have done something bad, because we are not so foolish that we would do something bad because our upbringing, our values are so strong. Obviously, we will not opt to do something bad intentionally, but still we end up suffering. Why do you think it happens? It is so beautifully told in these lines that sometimes we don't know where and when to stop being good. And that's the reason why sometimes we say now that uh, he or this particular lady is such a good person, but still they're suffering so much. And on a personal level also, we sometimes question ourselves that no, I was not being bad, I never had a bad intention, but why the suffering, why am I suffering right now? These things, we question ourselves at times. We really feel like I did not invite this. I never invited this kind of suffering in my life. I never did something so intentionally wrong, but I'm right now, suffering for something. So sometimes I feel having a kind heart is, somewhere we end up suffering. I'm not saying that don't have a kind heart. That was not my intention. But yeah, when we have a kind heart, we, start giving people those chances. We don't know where to stop being good. We are like, we empathize so much to an extent that maybe we prioritize our needs as something secondary, and we start giving the people around us so many chances. We are like, okay, maybe this person had a bad day, maybe that's the reason why they're treating us this way. That's because we have a kind heart. When we have a kind heart, first and foremost, we should understand that it is strength, it's not weakness. In no way am I trying to say that, having a kind heart is a bad thing or it's a weakness. No, not at all. I am a person who firmly believes that having a kind heart is a sign of strength, because in this present day world, having kindness, showing the sympathy or empathy is something so rare. So if you have a kind heart, it's your strength. But let's face the fact that when we have a kind heart, we end up suffering at times. I'm not saying in every situation, but yes, I hope most of us will realize that yes, we end up suffering because A, we give people too many chances. They don't deserve these chances, but still we give. B, we don't hold grudges like others do. Don't you believe, don't you agree that we don't hold grudges? People who have kind heart, they don't hold grudges. It's just not there in their DNA, it's not there in their thought process that I need to hold grudge on this particular person or I need to take revenge on this person. No, I'm not saying kind hearted people are saints and they don't have any flaws at all. I'm not trying to advocate that either. Even kind hearted people go through, anger issues. They can also be short tempered, but then the point is we don't elongate it, we don't stretch it for too long. We may react, but we don't hold things in our heart. So that is also one of the reason why we end up suffering. Thirdly, I feel we suffer because we are not valued. When we have so much kindness in our heart, we have so much to offer to this world, and still we are not valued, obviously we feel bad. And also, as I said, this also leads to suffering, because the person who is at the receiving end will never be grateful or will never show the gratitude for what we are bringing to the table. It's like we are taken for granted, or our contributions are not seen as something that is valuable, and then we suffer. We undergo that hurt and pain because we have a kind heart. The fourth reason why kind hearted people suffer is that they don't become cruel. It's such a wonderful strength that we have. We don't mirror their qualities, the qualities of the people who hurt us. We don't mirror their qualities. We don't have that capability of stooping down to their level, being cruel. Just the way they showed us the cruelty, we are incapable of showing that kind of cruelty back to them. And so the kind hearted people always end up suffering. But let us understand one thing, that the kind hearted people are not fools. They're not fools, they're just kind hearted. They're not fools. They can see what is happening with them, they can see the people are manipulating them. They are very much aware. They're being manipulated, they're being abused, they're being used. But you know what? They know that they can forgive. They know they have the capability to give them chances. Also, because we carry a lot of empathy. But whatever it is, usually the kind hearted people end up suffering. Now, let us try and understand why we are subject to these sufferings. Why usually the kind hearted people are subject to the sufferings. Now, according to me, the number one reason is that universe is here to teach us something. We need to understand one vital thing. If we are going through a particular kind of suffering in our life, we just need to understand that there's a certain kind of energy that's working around us, which we call the universe, which is trying to teach us something. It's like, let's take a practical example. When I'm teaching my son something and I'm being very soft towards him, there are times that he may not grasp it, or his attention may just get diverted here and there. At that point of time, my voice becomes a little assertive. I tell him, give your attention over here. I'm teaching you something. This happens, right? Between a parent and child, a teacher and child. When they're not showing the kind of focus, that is when the voice becomes a little assertive. So we need to understand one thing. When we are getting diverted, when we are going off the track, universe is always there to tell us, listen, there's a lesson waiting for you over here. You are going to understand what it is, and then you will be able to grow spiritually. Whatever sufferings that we go through, just keep one thing in mind: we grow from that. Whatever we go through, we grow through. Always remember that nothing happens just accidentally. Whatever happens in our life, it has some value and it carries some lesson that we need to learn. And who teaches all these lessons to us? The universe has got its own smart ways of teaching us what is right and what is wrong. So of course, sufferings brings along with it some kind of lessons that we need to learn. Secondly, we suffer when we don't show gratitude. I firmly believe this happens. When I take things for granted in life, that is when, there's this alarm that goes off, which says, listen, madam, you need to show an attitude of gratitude. As long as things are just right there in front of me, it is nicely decorated in a platter and given to me, you know, If I have the smartness, I'll say thank you and then I consume. But if I lack the smartness and if I'm taking it for granted, that is when I lack in my gratitude. And that is when universe has its own way of teaching me a lesson on showing an attitude of gratitude towards everything that I have. So always remember, whenever there is a suffering, it is also important that we need to just become very humble. We need to mellow down. We need to understand what is right there in my hand right now. Value that. Show gratitude. Say thank you to God. And in a way, the sufferings can have a closure in your life when you do this. Thirdly, sufferings teaches us to set boundaries. And I have seen it, people who are very innocent in their approach, who have a kind heart, they sometimes don't understand that they have to set boundaries. They feel that the entire world is so pure, the entire world is so good. Having a positive attitude towards the world or having an optimistic approach towards the world is one thing, and being very naive and being very innocent is another thing. So, when I have to come face to face with these sufferings, that is when I really, awaken myself from within. I tell, listen, you had to set boundaries. Had you set boundaries, you wouldn't be subjected to such kind of hurt and pain. So, yes, sufferings will also teach us that we need to set boundaries in our lives. Now, lastly, there's one question that always comes in everyone's mind. You know, we ask ourselves, do the people who hurt us face their karma? Don't you agree? I mean, I'm not saying that we are in the mood of revenge or we have an attitude of, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, that we all know. So we do not have the attitude of taking a revenge on anybody because we are having such good values. Obviously, we don't really want anybody to undergo any kind of hurt and pain. But then sometimes in that kind of suffering, we get that kind of thought that whoever has induced so much hurt and pain in me, will that person ever face his or her karma? This is the question that we always get in our minds, in our hearts. Do the people who hurt us face their karma? Let me tell you, they do. And understand one thing, that because we have got good values, because we carry a kind heart, we have the smartness to heal ourselves by taking out time for introspection. Because we don't consider ourselves to be the king or the queen. We do realize that we are flawed. We do realize that we have done mistakes, and that's the reason we take out the time to understand ourselves properly, and we take out the time to heal ourselves. But the people who hurt us, the people who are cruel, they don't do that because they're so much, drowned in their arrogance that they don't heal themselves at all. And they don't take out the time for introspection because they always feel that I am perfect, I am the best. So, know one thing, that when the people who hurt you will do such things, they are going to face their karma because of what they think and what they do. Their arrogance prevent them from getting healed. That's the only point. And you know what is their punishment? Their punishment is that they never realize they need to change. The people who hurt us are so cruel. Yes, they have done some cruelty in terms of abusing us emotionally. And their punishment is that they never realize that they need to change. So they will just remain in that low vibration. and they will only attract things that are of low vibration. We, on the other hand, by healing ourselves, we increase our vibration, we become more positive, we learn our lessons from the sufferings, and we attract that kind of abundance, prosperity, and happiness, and most importantly, the peace in our lives. So you can see how the karma works. People who don't want to change, who are in their arrogance, will remain there in the low vibration. We, on the other hand, who are kind hearted, who are empathetic, we rise our vibration and we know that we need to change and we attract abundance in our lives. And the people who hurt us, they just keep doing the bad karmas. The more they do the bad karmas, the more bad things they'll invite for themselves in their lives. So, yes, please remember that the people who hurt us, certainly they face their karma. And the things that we need to do is just one important thing that we need to learn is the lessons that we learned from the sufferings, the importance of setting boundaries in our life, and we need to take out the time to heal ourselves and do the required kind of introspection and be better people so that we can earn good karma ahead in our lives. I really hope you liked today's content, and as always, I always request you guys to just drop in some of your feedback in the comment section below. So please do that so that we can make it a discussion kind of a thing and build this community and try and bring people, the like-minded people over here and discuss certain things, because it's only through discussion that we can enhance our knowledge and we can understand from each other's learnings. That is very vital, and this community is just for that. So please feel free to comment and let us know your opinion about this entire topic. Until next time, please take care of yourself and always remember the universe will always respond to you in the vibration that you are carrying. So please keep yourself so pure in terms of your thoughts and energy that universe will respond to you likewise. And also, please remember that the sufferings that we undergo is not something that is to be taken to heart in a way that we don't recover from that. No, sufferings are here because they have to teach a certain kind of lesson to us. So take it in the positive way and be the winners, heal yourself, and that's all. Just be victorious and always emphasize on the point of spiritual awakening, and that will give you the best results in life. That's all about it for today's video. Take care of yourself and always be positive. Thanks for listening in.